Monday morning, folks, and welcome to the second episode of the FINMET Mondays podcast. Last week was a positive week for both gold and silver. Let's quickly take a recap of some of the key economic events that took place and see how that fared in the favor of gold and silver. Main key indicators last week we saw were the PPI inflation and the core inflation rate, the CPI, both coming from the US. In both the inflation readings, they came in lesser than expectations, the inflation readings, which is positive for gold. This means that the Fed can not go so hawkish or so strict in its interest rate mandate. It can cool the interest rates further, much more than what it had earlier anticipated. Now, looking forward, Sunil, on 20th of Jan, Trump is going to be swearing in. And it's going to be a mammoth event, according to me, just like how 6th of November was a significant event in terms of a $200 drop that we saw in gold from those highs of 2,700. I see that tomorrow could be a very similar action. Do you agree with me in that sense? And what do you think generally Trump swearing in would mean on prices of gold and silver for the remainder of the year?
I don't think there'll be a sudden knee-jerk reaction. As far as gold is concerned, I think the impact of the policies is going to be positive for gold because it is inflationary. So there's three things that he's basically mandated. Firstly, he's talking about tariffs. Now, obviously, when the tariffs are raised from most of the countries, what's the impact of that is going to be that prices locally will go up. Secondly, he's talking about immigration. When he curtails immigration, you're going to find a situation where the number of people available for tasks for work is going to reduce. And again, wage pressure will be there and prices are going to go higher in terms of wages. And the third thing that he's looking for is make in America or do stuff in America. And he's willing to spend fiscally for that. He's willing to reduce taxes. So as soon as you see a situation where there's fiscal stimulus and there is reduced taxation, you're going to see a situation where the deficit goes up, borrowing increases. If borrowing increases, interest rates go up. So I think these things are going to be worrying for the economy. And so therefore, again, gold may see a little bit of a bump up. So overall, it seems to be positive for gold. That's why we've seen this run up in the last few days. But we'll have to see when the policies are actually announced, what the scale of those policies are. If the policies are not as hawkish as he's stated, then gold may pull down. So we'll have to see when the policies are actually announced.
Makes sense. Just a note for all our listeners, 20th of Jan is a US holiday. So markets will be closed. But regardless, when we start on Tuesday, a lot of what's happening on the inauguration day is going to factor into prices starting Tuesday. Just painting the technical picture, Sunil. Like you said, we've seen just a boost in prices and markets have corrected on Friday and are sustained right above 2,700. Where do we go from here? You see over here that the past times this has happened, very similar price action movements have happened. You've also seen increases in the past, and then there have been rapid decreases right after you hit 2730. So this is considered to be a very strong selling signal. And here is where buyers are going to wait and see whether it's going to be a repeat of the same. We are going to see a triple top forming here, 1, 2, 3, or we're finally able to break out this 2730 and head for the target of 2790. This is the $1 million question, let's say, that we have for this week. Let's say that gold is not able to break 2730. You're going to see eventually a cushion right again, $60 down, where markets had previously bounced back from this week, as you can see over here. The price action is comfortably above the moving averages that you can see here. This is considered to be a positive sign. You can also see that the RSIs are above 60 as well. So this is aiming in the right direction, trending upwards, and showing signs of more uptick that can show up in the metal. So all in all, the bullish sentiment in the metal is still intact. This is still a question, 2730, and we're going to wait and see how the markets are responding to, like you said, Trump's comments this week and to some of the economic indicators that are also released. Well, thanks, Neil. This was just a quick update on the price outlook. One of the other things that has just occurred over the weekend are the ceasefire talks in Israel-Palestine conflict. Israel is withdrawing its troops from Gaza. That safe haven sentiment is also going to chip off from gold's prices. And that's also one of a disadvantage gold has, which is up till now, it has been piggybacking on this safe haven demand and this geopolitical conflict. And now you might see some of that receding. But again, we're going to make sense of it as we get more data. That's when it makes more sense to talk. But till then, thank you so much, Sunil, and goodbye.